Good morning and welcome to In Search of Prosperity Sisterhood. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you found us. I'm so glad you invested in yourself to be here and interact and be a part of this discussion. My vision for this is to be that interactive live podcast style. That's just the way I describe it. Maybe there's other people that do a similar thing, but that is what I call it. So we come here to find connection and confidence in and through conversation in our life and in our business because those two things intermingle and it can get messy sometimes. And we're kind of here to untangle everything. So this morning is actually Thanksgiving morning, which historically, in the past, I had done a free kind of coffee connection hour, and Thanksgiving morning seemed to be the time. Like I'd have random people show up that were only there once a year or what have you. And so when I started this, I knew that I had to start in time to not miss Thanksgiving. It was just what was on my heart. I said, well, if I'm going to do this, I can't miss Thanksgiving because of the timing of working all this through and launching it. I was like, all right, I'm not going to miss Thanksgiving. So it was a really cool little push for myself to get this started. And here we are. So happy Thanksgiving. Every day should be Thanksgiving of some kind. I truly believe that. So I want to kind of recap. Earlier this week, we talked about saying no, it being November. And in our discussion, some other things came up that I wanted to share with you. When it comes to saying no, shifting it into taking care of yourself and your mental hygiene in your business, one thing that was brought up was setting do not disturb on your phone. Duh. Like whether it's just for that hour of nap time or from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., whatever that is, setting that do not disturb to automatically set on your phone. One of my last phones actually had it turned to black and white, which I think some research says that that changes or shifts what your brain wants to look at or is addicted to in some ways. So I thought that was kind of cool. My new phone doesn't do that. Sad face. Another thing that's brought up was your scheduler, your online scheduler, or just your calendar in general, and setting that to where it doesn't run you, you run it. So for instance, I only have a couple hour time slots on my power hour schedule. Now, do I have more time in my days? Yes. But there's kind of a couple reasons for that. One is just for my limitation, right? To not overextend myself or have my calendar run me. But then also, if you really, really want to meet with me and those times just absolutely do not work, either you're going to make them work and you're going to be more committed to saying yes to that calendar date, or you're going to reach out and say, man, those 3 times that you had on your calendar do not work. I still work a full-time job or blah, blah, blah. And then again, you're putting more skin in the game, having that conversation with me saying, can you do it on this day instead at this time? Would this work for you? And then we're volleying back and forth. But usually that scheduler just sets the pace and the tone, and we're good to go. Another note from last session was saying no and then communicating what you're saying no to and then also what you're saying yes to in that season, in that day, in that week, for that particular holiday, whatever it is, communicating it to your team, to your family member, to your spouse, your kids, your boss, whatever it is, communication. Communication is key. Another tidbit was someone shared a quote, and that is, it's not a legacy until they can succeed without you. Don't know who said it. They didn't either, or I would have written it down. If someone can help me, throw it in the comment section. But it's not a legacy until they can succeed without you. And I think that really segues into this conversation about gratitude and Thanksgiving on this day, that that goal, that vision that you have for your life, your business, your kids, your household, your PTA, your the board that you're on. It's not a legacy until they can succeed without you. I think that also goes into like what you're giving away, what you're giving out, what you are releasing for other people to use. We talked a little bit about this in a session last week on listening to your heart and really what that can mean, not only for yourself, but the people around you in your community, and how that grows without you because you're releasing it. So when we look at gratitude, there's a saying, and I don't know where it comes from, but you're going to get the gist of it. And that is, what you are grateful for today is what you prayed about yesterday. Some variation of those words. So what you are grateful for today, you prayed for, you dreamed about, you asked for yesterday, last week, last month, last year. So looking back at those conversations, at those prayers, at those dream boards, at those journal entries. I'm a big fan of affirmations. So you can actually, a lot of times it's, what are you grateful for right now today in this moment? And that can be really fun. Then what are you grateful for that you're creating today you're going to be super grateful for tomorrow? So that's a different kind of gratitude, a different kind of affirmation, a different kind of presence, because you're present today, but you have excitement for the future. And that can be in the form of gratitude. I haven't built my dream house yet. Am I grateful for it? Do I have a vision for it? Hell yeah, I do. Right? You may not physically have it, but if you can see it, you're halfway there. You're more than halfway there. Heck, your feet are there. You're pointed in that direction, right? So having that gratitude in your heart in the present moment, which you might be doing around your Thanksgiving table today, right? You might be saying, going around and saying, what am I thankful for? Which is the tradition I actually want to start this year in my family. It's my parents' 38th wedding anniversary today. Every once in a while, it lands on Thanksgiving Day. And so my sister and families and I are all meeting at their house, and it's going to be a good time. And I want to go around and say what I'm thankful for, and everyone sharing that. So that's an example of just being present with what you're thankful for today. And sometimes when you just have one thing, you say what you're thankful for that's right in front of you. And that's okay. That's not copping out. That's not good enough of a gratitude statement. But it gets really fun. And maybe this is my challenge for you today, is don't just stop at one. Do 15. Because 5 to 7 is easy. Like, we can list 7 things right in front of us that we are grateful for and can trigger us into gratitude, which is cool. But 15 stretches you, because 10, it starts to get kind of hard and you're like, oh, I've run out of things. And so then you can dream a little bit. You can ask for and be excited for things in the future in this present moment. One thing I'm truly grateful for is being debt-free. and what that has created in my life outside of having money in the bank and not in somebody else's ledger. So knowing that and then seeing it farther, like I just said, I'm grateful for being debt free because it's money in my bank and not theirs. Even if it's not much, it's not in theirs. And that's something that I am passionate about and I'd encourage people with is to become debt free. And so when we're grateful for something, we want other people to have it because we see what it's done for us and what it can do for them. And so when we share our gratitude for those things, we are giving it to them. We're allowing them to dream about their legacy. The acknowledgement of gratitude it's part of the game. It's part of how the universe works, right? So like the idea of being excited about things in the future, acknowledging what that can mean is gratitude. Cool, huh? I think that's pretty cool. When we look at gratitude in our daily lives, it can just be that one thing. It can be those three things. I have a good friend, Nicole. She instilled in me as I was learning all of this, as I was growing into more of an adult. We met 13 years ago, and she would stop me and she'd say 3 things you like about that person. Say 3 things that you're grateful for. Like, shut up and do this. Like, she would just make me do it. And sometimes it can be that pop quiz. It can be, wait a second, I need to snap out of this, right? And so stopping and writing some gratitude statements, writing some I am statements. I am so happy and grateful now that blah, blah, blah. I am so happy and grateful for the opportunity to blah, blah, blah. I am so happy and grateful for the whatever. Okay. I am so happy and grateful. It's a gratitude statement we will use in our 2024 Prosperity Manifesto. That's in like 2 weeks, somewhere mid-December. I haven't set the date exactly, but that's going to be a fun opportunity to nail down some of these things, right? Be present and grateful, and then move into the excitement for the future. Super excited about that. But I want to close with reminding you that gratitude is something that it needs to be practiced. It needs to be exercised. And yet it can be done in such small scale, especially when you're getting started, especially when maybe you just feel like you're in a rut, like you're writing just those few things, right? So taking that, and maybe you need to start small. So a couple tips before we sign off into our discussion. A tip would be separating the word thank you, not thanks. Thank the person. Thank the experience. Thank the one thing. Direct your thanks. Thank you. Okay. Another is just in your daily communication, whether you're ordering coffee or placing an order to go at a restaurant or standing in line or telling your husband to get out of the bathroom, whatever it is. Okay. Starting with, may I please have? May I please have 5 minutes in the bathroom? May I please have an iced mocha, super tall, right? Like when you set that in your heart as that pre thank you, what do you think their response is? Well, of course you can. I was a server for a very short time, a really bad server, by the way. Don't hire me as a server. I'll just put it out there. Really bad, really bad. Anyway, um, knowing that server mentality of who I was as a server, if someone had come up to me and said, "Hey, can I have a Coke?" Maybe they wouldn't even ask. Like a Coke. I'll take a Coke, or I'll take an egg salad sandwich, right? What's your response? Yeah, sure, I guess. Did you want to get it yourself? Like sometimes you can have that attitude if you want to. But if someone started with, "May I please have an egg salad sandwich?" What do you think your response is, like as the server, as the receiver of that question? Of course you can. Did you want two of them? How can I help you? Right? Like it's a totally different response. And in in our walk through this world, we can then be grateful for and have appreciation for those around us that really truly they need that um acknowledgement, right? And that is, I would say that's like that can be the core of starting or restarting gratitude in your life, is just acknowledging what you have around you, the people, the places, the things, the experiences, and just stopping and showing appreciation for. And then you can find those gratitude moments. And then you can be excited for the next time or the next thing. So, with that, we're going to go into our discussion and just talk about maybe something we've asked for in the past and now have received. Maybe this year, it's getting closer to the end of the year for us as we're recording this. But then also maybe there's something you want to put in the universe, something you're excited for in the future and you don't have a full vision for, you need some hand clapping along the way. So with that, thank you for joining us in the In Search of Prosperity community, sisterhood community. And we're gonna stop the recording here and go into our discussion, kind of like having that separation, because we share tears, we share experiences, we share some intimate things in that discussion. And until, little vulnerability moment, until I learn how to edit videos, this is how we're doing it. So thank you so much for joining us here live, and we're going to go into our discussion, and thank you for joining us on the replay. See you next time. And they moved the button again. See ya.